Remember, the quiet ones always have the darkest secrets. It's time to uncover them on Hidden Killers with Tony Brueski, featuring former prosecutor and defense attorney Eric Faddis.
The trial of Alex Murdoch, well, obviously that's long gone. There could very well be another one, as the Supreme Court is going to take a look at that in South Carolina. But the dismissal of juror number 785, that's the latest mystery here. Myra Crosby is her name. She was also known as Egg Lady because she brought eggs in. And then when she was dismissed, she had to go get her eggs out of the jury room and take them home. Egg Lady. But why was she dismissed? And why is all of that information under seal right now? That's the big question. Joining me to discuss, Eric Faddis, defense attorney, former prosecutor. Let's start there with the fact that information that she gave is all under seal, because it all goes back to Becky Hill, who obviously we know Becky was accused of jury tampering. One of the jurors already said, yeah, she tampered with me. There's some question here as to, did Becky set up this juror to be dismissed?
You know, as a general rule, a lot of judges see themselves as having a duty to protect jurors. And the deliberation process, as a general rule, is supposed to be private and confidential unless the jurors want to talk about it. So I think that's really the source of where sealing these documents comes from. But there's also a transparency concern. And when there's an issue that directly implicates the jury on appeal, I think that there might be reason to unseal that and just have at least the attorneys be able to view it.
It's another chapter in this. Obviously, we have the one juror who has testified and said, yeah, she influenced me. This one, the concern seems to be that this might have been a holdout. This person may have been not so convinced that Alex Murdoch committed the murder. And from what we understand, the reason she was dismissed is because Becky Hill went to Judge Clifton Newman and said, look at this Facebook post. This shows that she's talked about this with her ex-husband. And it's been expressed this way. Turns out the Facebook post never existed. Either she made it up or made a fake. We don't know exactly what was looked at. But from what has been looked into, the ex-husband never made a post. So something was shown to the judge, and the judge said, oh, okay, and believed that this was, in fact, a real thing, when, in fact, it was not. That means that if that's not tampering, I don't know what is. You're making up evidence to get a juror dismissed at the crux of this trial.
Yeah, this is a bizarre turn of events. This doesn't usually happen. Clerk of Court Becky Hill essentially turned herself into an investigator for the case. It's my understanding she actually went out to the husband's home and tried to interrogate him about this, and was not able to get any evidence of the Facebook post at all. Very bizarre behavior, and it sort of compromises the integrity of the proceedings, injects bias or potential bias into it. And so I think the defense is smart to be latching on to this and pressing.
Where do you think this goes? I mean, obviously this stuff is under seal, but those who, I guess, need to access it, like attorneys and stuff, are going to have access, in a private matter. It's just kind of mind-blowing. This is, I'm sure, going to add more fuel to the fire for the argument for a new trial.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that it just compounds the defense's justification for trying to get that trial. First they had Becky Hill, clerk of court, talking to one of the jurors and probably giving or allegedly giving some disparaging information prejudicial to Alex Murdoch. Now we have her turning herself into an investigator and really sort of commandeering the proceedings, at least in that fashion. I think that the defense is building up to what they think is going to be enough to meet that threshold and get that new trial. This certainly helps them.
Is there going to be, is this a criminal act? I'm sure it falls under something. Could Becky face charges here and end up behind bars for her role in this?
It's one thing is that it doesn't happen a lot. So there aren't necessarily people, creating laws to protect against it. Does it fall under jury tampering? Maybe the husband wasn't a juror, but is she tampering with the overall jury and its process? But arguably, yes. And so I think she certainly is at risk of being looked at. Will it rise to the level of a criminal filing? We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
All right, true crime addicts, let's cut the crap. You're knee-deep in the gory details of your favorite podcast when suddenly a commercial hits like a bad meal. Seriously? You deserve better. Upgrade to True Crime Today Premium Plus on Apple Podcasts, where you can binge without those annoying ads. Plus, get extended interviews that go deeper into the darkness and early access to episodes so you can be the first to know. It's like trading up from fast food to fine dining, but with more blood. So, go ahead. Search for True Crime Today Premium Plus on Apple Podcasts. Subscribe and feast on the good stuff.